All right, will it run? Let's find out after this. Welcome back. If you haven't seen my videos before, I'm Rusty Oliver Man. This here is another Maytag 92 washing machine engine. And I don't know, I kind of like these little fellers. They're so simple and you can get most all the parts for them still. And they're just a neat little thing that comes from days gone by. Back before you had electricity, your washing machine was gas powered. And a lot of people hated these things because they were so cantankerous. I have determined in later years of running them at shows and things that a lot of the problem was if you put too much oil in, it fouls the plug and they don't want to start again. If you don't put enough oil in, it starts squeaking and then you've got problems. So it's finding that right balance. And I think that when they printed their operator's book for them, I feel like they went a little towards the oil heavy side and that didn't help things. And then you have, people who just don't read instructions, and that didn't make it very good either. So that's what you got going on. But I think they're neat as a button. I have, a dozen of them or so different. They made different variations, and I've tried to get different variations of them. And so this one here isn't anything special. It was actually buried in the snow just a few minutes ago from where I left it, from when Moline Dan brought it to me. You see, this comes from a consignment auction up in Michigan. There's the little ticket right there. And I was bidding on stuff that was on those auctions because Moline Dan was going to bring me that plow. And he actually turned me on to these auctions. He said, hey, there's this auction house that's just like down the road from my house. And he said, they have an auction every Monday night or whatever. And he said, if you buy stuff on there, I'll bring that along too, because, it makes more sense to bring a full trailer load. So you don't have to tell me twice. I love auctions. So I started bidding and buying stuff every week. And there was a lot of Oliver parts there for a while. But then this last go round of it, there was this little feller. And I didn't give anything for it hardly. And that's why I thought, hey, I'll have another one. Because maybe this winter we can make something of it, And looking it over, it's kind of rough. There's pieces missing. A lot of the stuff that you would really want, like the carburetor. But I don't know if somebody just robbed that off or what was happening with this thing. It almost looks like there was a piece of wood over that bolted in there. We got one bolt twisted off in there. We've got the incorrect bolt holding the flywheel on, so we'll have to investigate that. But it's not stuck, friends. And it appears to have a little bit of compression. And so that was enough for me to decide, hey, we might have us something here. See, there's the remnants of a spark plug. So, yeah. But I mean, it's got a little bit going for it. I mean, it's not beautiful by any means, but I have fixed worse. I think that's got a crack in it, which that's whatever. That's probably not really that. I could probably weld that back together. And I might have another one or two of these, because several years ago, when I was hot and heavy into these things, I bought a whole bunch of parts from a guy who had bought them. I don't know if the guy had a collection of them and they were like, there was a fire and some of the stuff complete engines got melted down, and there were other engines other than just Maytags. But he had a lot of parts, and there was a lot of good parts still. So they must have not been in the fire, or maybe I got that story totally wrong and that wasn't connected in any way, but I bought the parts from that guy. So I got buckets full of these Maytag Model 92 washing machine engine parts. And so there you go. I don't know how long this is sat out. We'll find out. I'm just looking it over. It's still got the coil in it, you know, so that might be a good thing. If that's good, then we're in good shape here, because there's nothing to them, friends. I mean, they're just so simple. It's got the points in there. That's actually your governor there, but you can go through this cover. The lighting's not very good here. I see the coil looks pretty good, really. And then your flywheel has magnets bolted into it, and then that's what makes her go do the thing. It might have taken a little whoop-de-woo right there. It might not be just the roundest there anymore, but we ain't gonna worry about that. I think it's good enough to still play, and it's definitely worth giving her a try. So what better thing to do on miserable weather days than work on some of these little projects? I'm really surprised that this snow is not melting away fast and it's fighting me, because that's not really that handy for me, but whatever. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna tear this apart and see what we need, what we have, and we may just end up ordering stuff because it's easier to push buttons than it is to go dig through a whole pile of stuff. That's kind of sad, but that's the way life is. But we'll figure this out, and we might have us another thing to go here, because I actually have, like I said, I've got a McLean garden tractor, which is supposed to have one. That's what we rebuilt that one. It's actually still behind me on the floor here, a winter or two ago. And so that would be for that. And then I've got another one on rubber that we could potentially put this one on if we get it going. And I've also got an actual washing machine that I would like to finish putting together and fix up so I could use it, because I think it would be fun to use that for like shop rags and stuff, you know. And so I just haven't got that far yet, but I think I do have a motor partially fixed up, bolted to that. We have to look at that sometime. That'll be a project one day too. But anywho's, we'll see what we can make of this thing. I don't know that we're gonna make that much of it, but we're gonna sure try. Oh, look at that, friends. That came right out of there. Now if we do this, oh yeah, we got good compression. That is good enough to run, boys. So that part is good. Underneath exhaust elbow, that ain't great. I don't know if we should try to get this off now. We should try to get this off later. I'm tempted to just, let's give her a try now and see what we get. Is that 1/2 inch? Maybe. And then an extension perhaps. Oh, wonderful. I don't have the right tools. Amazing. Amazing. Oh, I dropped my socket. I just love it when stuff like that takes place. Let's see what we get here. Man, is everything gonna come loose on this? Or am I slipping on the hex? I had an old timer tell me one time, and you can believe or disbelieve this, but he said the best penetrating oil was water, because he said water's what stuck it together. So he said water will break it free. And I'm wondering if the fact that this has been submerged in the snow, that isn't true, and it's helping our cause here. But that's got a chip out of it. It would work to run it, so we'll set that aside for now, because like I said, it may be, we may end up using that for now if we don't want to spend money or can't find whatever. Okay, where do we want to go from here? I'm not going to even take the I'm not going to take the rod loose or the jug loose from it, I don't think. Well, it's missing a bolt there, so is it twisted off or what's going on there? We're gonna have to figure that out. That's a new wrinkle there that doesn't usually happen. It would be really handy, Snow, if you would just knock it off and melt so that I could work. We need to find out if there's threads in there and if we could possibly put a bolt back. Oh, there's threads, friends. There's good looking threads in there. So somebody has either just, somebody must have either robbed that bolt or whatever. I was hoping I had one laying here I could test it, but I don't think I do. But we will. I don't think that those are 1/2 inch. I think those are 3/8. Yeah. Okay, so we can't figure that out just yet. Let's go to, no, that's not it. Let's try to take, we're gonna take the gas tank loose eventually. I like my trick extension here that doesn't have a ball in it anymore. Some of this stuff you wonder if it broke in the handling at the auction yard or if it was broke a long time before that. And unfortunately, some of it was probably broken modern handlings, which is a shame, but that's how she goes. I need to go get that magnetic tray that's upstairs that I got for Christmas, because it would sure be handy in this time right now. Let's see if we can get this. Everything's just cooperating, which is bizarre. That's why I'm puzzled here. Maybe the cold is helping us and I want to get it apart as fast as possible. Shouldn't have to take this all the way out, but it sure would be nice to know. If this is going to work. Come on off of there. Come on off of there. You're coming. Once you get it to move, you know you got her licked. Let's lay that aside. Let's take this off. This is in excellent shape for a change. The last one was not, and we had to replace parts of it. But I think this one will go again. Well, I take that back now. Well, I don't know. It looks globbered on by, like someone has globbered on some weld, but it might be good enough to play ball. We'll have to be determined on that. That's working good. Let's see about, we're missing some bolts. And so I'm wondering if somebody else has had it apart to rob stuff, or whether somebody took it apart because they didn't know what they were doing, or they thought they were going to save pieces and then didn't. There's another one that came loose, I'm amazed. this isn't the right combination of sockets to be using. I should be using a not deep well, because I'm going to end up twisting off. Now this one in the corner, I don't think you can use a socket on. I don't know. I'm pretty sure all the time. Well, I was thinking all the time I had to use a wrench, but we are sailing along, friends. Will this one come out whilst we're here? No, that's a 7/16 probably. That's not what those are supposed to have. The carburetor mounting bolts were brass screws. It's got a little side-to-side play, but not horrid. I am disheartened though about all the twisted off stuff. I don't know. It's had a little bit of water in it, friends. That's probably from sitting here. That's solid frozen ice. We'll lay this aside and let it melt out. All right, do we want to take, I don't know if we even need to do that. Do we want to try to take those loose for fun or not? Let's see if they come loose. If they twist off, I'm going to be sad and wish I had left them alone. Okay. Let's see. Come on, baby doll. Give her up. That's coming loose. Well, those all four came loose really nicely. That's handy. That needs to go with that. There we go. That actually is solid, so it's not like that gained us much. But we're sailing through this, friends. I'm impressed. We're gonna have to get that out. That might prove to be a struggle of sadness where we have to take that outside and torch it or something. But so far so good. Let's see if this one will come out. Like I said, somebody has had stuff in there that doesn't belong, because originally those were brass screws. Now if life smiles on us, maybe that's a brass screw twisted off and we can easily get that out. But I'm kind of skeptical that we would be that lucky. Yeah, okay. Let's take this. Let's see. I think that's probably steel. So somebody's already been in there. Now we should take loose the thing I should have done first, you know, take the flywheel off. What fun would that be though, friends, if I did that right away, you know, or in their appropriate order. Also, I'm not sure what, maybe it was the same as what I already had out. It was. All right, we're gonna try it. See if we can get it without an impact. I figured we probably could because it's so oddly put together. I guess that's another struggle bus. Is that why we did that? Is it because the end of the crankshaft is boogered up? Very possible. It's weird though, because we got good threads down lower, so where that thing was at was actually on the not good threads. So I don't know what they were doing there, if that's all they had and they tried to wedge that on there. I think we can accomplish us something, because that's supposed to be a castle nut. So if we can grab the good threads and then put a pin through it, I'd say it's good enough for what we're doing. Let's see if this will come loose. I need to get a fard pounder here. I don't have one handy. I like to try to hold them up in the air and then okay, we're gonna have to get a something or other and try to clean these up. Wonder if our thread chaser set has something that size. We'll investigate that, but there are wore out threads that aren't very good, and I don't like that nut anyway, so we'll get back what it has. Whenever we get to that point, we'll fix it. There's our magnet ring and our governor. Oh, that looks good. It's dirty, but it looks good. Then we have our very, very dirty but intact points set up. And they're, of course, corroded and nasty, but I think still serviceable. So, friends, I mean, this should come off of here too. Let me think about that. There should be a pinch bolt. This one was a pinch bolt through it. Yeah, screwdriver. Goes through here somehow, if that will come loose. Come on, baby. And then this thing should come off of here, maybe, or not. Or not. Come on now. Well, that's good enough for now, though, to assess what we needed to assess. Some of the stuff we're not gonna know until we totally like start to, I don't know how to test that coil unless you put it together and try it, you know. So, but anyway, there's nothing on this that can't be fixed. I mean, it's so simple. The worst part about it is the boogered end of this, but I think we can salvage that too, because like I said, we weren't into the good threads, and it's a castle nut, so I think we can run a tap over there or thread chaser, whatever we have, fix that. That'll be good. We'll clean all this up. We need to get that out. We need to put a bolt in the front side, which I'm not going to disturb. Normally, I mean, if you do a total tear down, you can take the rod loose and take this all off. I don't think we're going to do that with this one. I think we're just going to roll the dice. This is twisted off, apparently, so we need to see what we can do there. That is supposed to be one of two things. On this one, okay, this one was the lighter style, because that's actually the remnants of an oiler, and it had a hole through there and like a spring with a ball, almost like a check ball deal, but you just put your oil can on the ball, push down, and the oil would drip down in there, and it's broke off. The early ones had a screw you were supposed to take out and do that, so that is doable. We'll get that plate pulled off of there, like I said. I don't know why it's fighting me so, but it might be kind of frozen because it's been buried in the snow. So then this should just be a little screw that was holding our There's the remnants of it. Your stopper thing for your spark plug. That's how you killed the motor. That'll come out. I'm not worried about that. We'll figure that out. Like I said, we maybe end up heating some stuff to get her apart. But basically, it's all apart to where we need to go. Now we just need to do our little bit of homework here and clean her up. You know, we're going to clean it and give it a nice, beautiful paint job on its way back together. Because why wouldn't you, you know? Why would you not when you're in it this far? So that's where we're going to leave this, I think. Maybe this wasn't very interesting, but I like these things, and they're part of history. I heard a lot of stories used to about old-timers just getting so fed up with them. You know, I'm sure the wives were complaining, the washing machine won't run, and we got to wash today, and whatever, and they couldn't get it to run. And I heard a lot of stories where guys, like the first day that electricity came out, this was the first thing to get replaced. And a lot of them would take these out to a tree stump and beat the tar out of them with a sledgehammer because they hated them so much. But I think they're kind of neat for what they were. I mean, really simple, and as many as Maytag made, I would say that they were pretty reliable. I mean, yeah, maybe some of them didn't run very good, but that was like anything, maintenance and how you mix your fuel and different things. Operator error was probably a big thing, because back then gas engines, that was a foreign idea. Like nobody had that just laying around. That was new technology, and so they didn't understand how everything worked. But I'm saying, as many of them that Maytag made, they were pretty good, reliable things, and you can make them run today pretty good. And there were other companies that did the same types of thing. You know, Briggs & Stratton made some WM washing machine motors. And then they had like an earlier, I don't remember what it was, an FH or whatever. Some of them had like lever start with a piece of chain on there. And the WM was a kickstart. I haven't found one of them yet. I wouldn't mind to have one for my collection of things. Associated made one, and that was arguably one of the worst ones ever made, because I always heard that for every one they shipped out, they got two back. And I've got one in my collection of stuff, but it was a totally different animal. It has like a horseshoe mag. It's a neat looking little thing. And it had a base that was part of the washer, and it used a pull strap of like leather ratchet and a handle and a flat piece of leather. And that was a neat thing. And then everything else under the sun, there were other variations of washing machines that use different gas engines, you know, but this is probably the most common that you see, a 92 Maytag. And then there were different variations, side exhaust and different things. You had the 82 fruit jar. It used a fruit jar, mason jar for a gas tank, and it had a different carburetor. And I mean, but basically the main part of it stayed the same, you know, these three pieces, and the only thing that was different on all the different variations was carburation, exhaust, things they tried over the years and whatever. Some of them had different kick pedals and things depending on the washing machine they were on. Like the Model 19 washer has like a 90-degree kick pedal thing that comes out because it had to clear the frame of the washing machine. I've got one of those. I don't know, I've forgotten a lot about them, but I've messed with them for years. That was the first one I got, was a 92 Maytag, the first gas engine, and so I obviously still have that one. And then from these they went on to the Model 72, the twin cylinder ones, and I don't have that many of those, and I've never had them where they reliably ran. I haven't messed with them enough to really understand all their quirks yet, but we need to probably get some more of those too. I actually had thoughts on that rubber-tired McLean garden tractor to maybe get a 72, a twin cylinder, and put that on that one. Have the single cylinder on the steel wheel one, and have the, you know what I'm saying. But there was all kinds of stuff back then, and I just think it's neat. It's still in existence, and it's still like, look at how rough this looked, but I bet you I can make it run, because there's nothing here that's gonna stop us, really. I mean, yeah, there's some missing parts we got to get, and we got to clean everything up and whatever, but I bet you it's gonna run. Maybe it won't run great, but it'll run. So it might smoke terrible, but it's gonna run. I mean, that's the neat thing about them. There's just, they can be, and I've always said that too, like you buy a gas engine from some old guy and he said, oh, it ran the last time we used it. And when you start working on it, like how could it possibly run? Because there's stuff that hits other things and stuff is not adjusted right at all and it's cobbled up, but they just kept on and on and on. I mean, those old gas engines were tough. So the little Model 92 Maytag is kind of the same way. It's a tough little bird, and we're gonna try to bring this one back around just to say that we did, you know. Financially, does it make sense? Probably not. I could probably buy a running one for less than what I'll have in just buying another carburetor and whatever, but it's just neat to bring something back. So that's what we're gonna do. We'll mess with this as one of our wintertime projects. It's another thing that shouldn't be superly duper complicated or take us a lot of time. It's just gonna be waiting on the mail to bring us the parts, because I probably used up most of my supply of stuff by now. I think we discovered that on the last one when I was working on it. You know, now that I look at it, it's got a little bit of slop in there, but like I said, that it'll still run. That's nothing. I can tighten up the rod a little bit, take the cap off and file it, and I bet it'll be fine. The trick is to not, you don't want them too tight, but you want them tight so that they don't knock, but not too tight, because if it's too tight, then bad things happen too. But I've seen these things run in just ridiculous condition. I mean, I've heard them where they were sitting there squeaking and they just keep running year after year, and there's everything else, you know, imaginable. But we're gonna try to bring this one back around. We'll investigate what we want to do. We might end up pulling that rod off of there and file the cap a little, in which case then we'll probably pull this off, clean that all up separately, and paint it and bring her back around. But yeah, it's a simple little project, and they're neat when they're done. See them how they run, little hit and miss engines basically, because they are load sensitive governor. You know, when they're under a load they hit every time, and the rest of the time they just hit and then coast. And so pretty neat. But I think we're gonna leave this one here. Do you suffer from low intelligence and are easily entertained? Well, then hit that thumbs up button and leave a comment, and that way we can keep making entertainment that your feeble minds can understand. As always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.